Have you ever pulled a card, looked at the manual, and felt absolutely nothing? Well, you are not alone. In my 12 years of giving over countless readings, I have seen that the biggest barrier to learning tarot isn't the lack of knowledge. It is actually too much of the wrong kind of effort. Now, today I am sharing the three most common mistakes the beginners make. Mistakes that block your intuition and leave you feeling disconnected from the cards. Stay with me until the third mistake because it's a one almost everyone does. And fixing it is the secret to actually and finally hearing what the cards are trying to tell you. Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Tell a Tale Tarot, where stories, soul, and the stars align. I'm your friendly neighborhood tarot advisor, crystal master, and a Reiki healer, Chandra aka TellATale Tarot. If you're here to find your soulful path through the cards without the overwhelm, you are in the right place. Let's get into the mistake number one. The little white book mistake, or the little white book trap, as I would say. Now, the first mistake is relying too heavily on the guidebook. I call this the dictionary phase. You pull a card like Eight of Wands and immediately flip through the back of the book to see what it means. Now, there's a hell lot of meaning out here and none of it makes sense to me, but in general. Now, I remember a student who was a beginner learning tarot with me. Now, she pulled, as a part of her exercise, a card a day. She pulled a card for reading into a difficult breakup, and lo and behold, she pulled the Eight of Wands and was devastated because the book said travel and swift movement. This is one of the very meanings for the Eight of Wands here. Now, she thought her partner was literally running away. But when we looked at the imagery and went deeper into the interpretations, now those Eight of Wands, they were not flying through the air. It was about a flurry of unspoken messages that were finally being delivered. The travel was emotional, not physical. And in her context, the message was more about suppressed desire to communicate than packing the bags and actually running away. Now, you would ask what the fix is. Now, before you touch that book, this little white book that more often than not we are all tempted to like, it is better to spend 30 seconds, at least 30 seconds. I'm giving you a number on that to look at what is happening in this card. Now, this is one of those cards in which we do not have people, right? Herein we are referring to objects, right? Which may feel not natural or difficult to interpret, so to speak. Now, what are these objects? What are these objects about? What is the element? Again, I've done the series on the aces, so it would be easy for you to pick up on the element. Element that we see here in Eight of Wands is the fire element. Now, what is the character doing? Of course, we don't have characters here. What is the color of the sky? Because the color of the sky also keeps changing. Emotional themes which are coming out by way of these wands which are showing action and movement, right? It is, and with the fire element at play. This can interpret and mean a lot of things. Just to give you an example, it can mean that I can't stop thinking about them. I need to reach out to them now. So everything is moving so fast, and I like it or I may not like it, so depending upon the context, there can be very many interpretations to just one card, which can either fall in or fall out within this keyword text and messages, right? So this is an entire gamut to it. Now, let the story sit and hit your soul first, right? Before you get to the literal and the theoretical meaning of it. The book is, of course, a map. This is not to undermine its significance, but remember, you are the traveler. Now, mistake number two, asking the dead question, and this is something which I cannot emphasize enough. Asking with questions like, will it, instead of how can I? Now, beginners often treat tarot like a vending machine for the future. Will he call me? Will I get the job? These are dead-end questions because they leave you feeling powerless. These are the questions that can be answered in yes and no. And once they are answered, what is it that you do with that kind of a response, right? So, the important thing here is that I share from my own journey and lived experience that I have had thousands of clients that ask that will I find love this year? Will I get married? Now, if the cards say, and I read it out to them like that, perhaps, maybe kind of a situation, or with Three of Swords, a no kind of a situation, then they would leave feeling both deflated and defeated, right? And an end of the journey for them as well as for me as their reader. But when we reframe it to questions like, what is blocking me from opening my heart to receive love right now? The energy shifts, right? We move from the prediction mode to the mode of transformation. And therein the true empowerment lies. Tarot, of course, is a tool for soul growth. It is not a crystal ball, right? Okay, now what the fix is? Always start your questions with what or how instead of why. I'm going to do an entire series committed on this very, very important aspect, but this is just to give you a sneak peek, right? So this turns a reading into a conversation with the universe rather than a test on which your life and death depends. Now, mistake number 3. The Celtic cross overload. Now, this is what I refer to it. Overcomplicating your spreads. I see beginners trying to do a 10-card Celtic cross for a simple question like, what should I focus on today, right? So for a day-to-day example, it's like trying to read an entire novel when you just needed a text message. I've seen readers who get so lost in the positions of the cards, and to give you an honest confession, even I do at times when I'm doing, wider spreads like Celtic, and that is why a 2-card or a 3-card draw is something that I rely heavily on, even when I'm doing, very short and effective 3 minutes readings. I've just given out my secrets. What happens is, coming back to, when we get so lost in these positions of the cards that they forget the very core message, In my Reiki practice, which I do alongside my tarot readings, we focus on alignment. So if your mind is too cluttered in 10 different directions and in 10 different meanings, there are more chances than lesser that your intuition can't align with the truth, and you will get lost in the maze of technicalities and theoretical understanding, so to speak, right? So even though you're done an entire session, there is this feeling of void and a disconnect that you may feel within. Now you'd ask what the fix is. Just stick to 1, 2 or maximum 3 cards reading. This is something that has held me good instead over all these years, my dear. A single card read with a clear heart will always give you more watch time with your own soul than a 10 cards read with a confused mind. Now, the important bit is that you begin to assimilate these inputs in your day-to-day reading and not just make it, as a time filler or a theoretical understanding, because it's almost like, driving the car. The more you drive, the better you become. Tarot isn't about getting it right. It is about getting it real. So my lovelies, as I always say, that is the crux and the essence of the discussion that we are holding today. If you found this helpful, I'm actually starting a deep dive series which is called Tarot Tidings with TellATaleTarot, where we break down every card starting with the aces. You can find that tutorial right here. In order to join me live for my full moon and new moon sessions, I would request you to subscribe my channel, and for personal guidance, you can reach out to me via my WhatsApp and Instagram. Until next time, keep your stories soulful and your stars aligned. I will see you in the next video. Love and light, Chandra.